Alex Hormozi uses cold outreach on LinkedIn to generate millions of leads every year across his portfolio companies without lifting a finger. Today, I'm going to be breaking down his exact LinkedIn outreach playbook for 2025. This is the exact playbook he used to grow his own business, acquisition.com, to $250 million, and the exact playbook he used to grow one of his portfolio companies from $0 to $100,000 per month within a single year. So, how does he do it? Well, I spent the last week breaking down his exact LinkedIn strategy so you don't have to. And I boiled it down to 6 key steps that you can copy and use to book hundreds of calls just using LinkedIn DMs. The first step is finding people to reach out to.
And there's 3 ways to build a list. You can scrape them, you can buy them, you can look for them.
So you can scrape them, buy them, and look for them. There's also a bit of a hidden strategy that we can use to find warm leads on LinkedIn that we'll come onto in just a minute. So first, scrape them. This is just searching for them using a software based on a given criteria. How to do this on LinkedIn? Well, you have 2 options. Either use free LinkedIn search, which works great, or use SalesNav if you need more advanced filters like company headcount and recent activity. Let's open up LinkedIn and see what this looks like. So you'll see I can search for a keyword up in the top left here, and then I can apply filters at the top like location, and then I can look at all filters to get more specific than that. And I can then look for things like the industry, and then you can see I have the job title as well to make sure that I'm hitting my exact ICP. Now, this is going to give you a big list of people that might be interested in buying your stuff. The other secret method we can leverage is LinkedIn groups, and Alex talks about why these are so powerful in this clip.
If you use a software that costs $99 a month and you get unlimited leads on, lots of people have hit their leads. Probably. Doesn't mean you can't succeed, just means many people might have hit it, right? On the flip side, if you assemble the list from many different groups that you join manually, the likelihood that many people have solicited those people is far less. So you might have a far more responsive list.
Essentially, most people aren't doing this. So these leads aren't being contacted as much, which means they're more likely to respond. Now, he talks about the fact that this usually requires a lot of elbow grease or hard work, but using a software like Prosp, we can actually automate this entire process. The first thing to do is head to LinkedIn. Now, we need to actually find a group of people within our target audience. Let's say my ICP is marketers. I can just type in marketing agencies into the search bar and then click on groups. You can see there are tons of groups, and you can just hunt through until you find one which is relevant to you that has decision makers within your target audience. Okay, so let's just go with this one. You can see there are tons of marketing people that I can now reach out to. At this point, all I need to do is open up prosp.ai. By the way, you can create an account for free. You'll just need to connect your LinkedIn account, and then you can create a campaign. I'll start from a template to make this as easy as possible. We'll give that a quick name, and then we're ready to go. So now you can see one of these options is import from a LinkedIn group. You'll see as well that I can actually import a LinkedIn search URL like the list that we built earlier in the video. I can also use Sales Navigator and even scrape anyone liking or commenting on a particular post, but that's a story for another day. Let's hit LinkedIn group, and then all I need to do is chuck the URL of the group from earlier in here. So I'll go back over to LinkedIn. I will copy the URL at the top of my screen here, then head back to Prosp, paste it in there, and then just click extract and import. And there we go. With all of our group leads imported, I can then map out a fully automated yet personalized sequence, but we'll come on to that in a second. Okay, step 2 of the $100 million cold outreach playbook, and one of the most important steps, is personalization. Now, Alex talks about this a lot on social media, and it's really at the foundation of his success with cold outreach. He breaks this down particularly well in this clip here.
So the idea is to make the cold outreach feel like a warm outreach. Makes it feel like a friend is reaching out to them, all right? So the best way to do this is to actually know something about the person you're contacting. If you know their name, you buy yourself a couple extra seconds. If you know something about them, you buy yourself even more seconds. Personalization in your outreach attempt, whether it's phone calls, cold emails, cold DMs, whatever, gets your foot in the door to get the sale.
What he's saying is, if you take the time to find something out about the person and then use that at the start of your message, they're far more likely to read it and therefore far more likely to respond. And in the past, this would have taken hours of manual research. But now with personalization tech, as he says here,
you don't always sacrifice personalization with scale.
I honestly love this line. Imagine you could send a super personalized, meaningful message, but to hundreds or thousands of people every single day. It's absolutely killer. So how do we actually implement this? Well, Prosp was actually built specifically for this. Let's take a look. In my outreach sequence, I could like a post and then send a connection request. But where it gets really exciting is the outreach message. With most tools, you have to send the same generic message to everyone, and I'll let Alex explain why this is a problem.
I promise you, I receive so many things from people. When you get a generic cold message, I can't get it out of my inbox fast enough.
He's right, it's the worst. But in Prosp, you'll see I actually have these AI prompts. Now, what these do is they take information about the prospect and then they write a personalized message specific to them, as he mentions earlier. There's a whole library of prompts for you to choose from. You can use them to clean the company name, reference their USP, or one of my favorites, complement their most recent post. If I actually click this prompt now, I can see the instructions. The AI will go and look at their post and then complement something specific about it. I can make any changes I want to this prompt, make it longer, make it shorter, make sure the tone matches my brand voice, and then just hit save in the bottom right corner. Now, when I go to click preview, I will see what this will ultimately look like when the sequence is running and being sent automatically. Okay, so you can see it's come back with, "Hey James, love that DMs post. So true, brother." Let's actually pull up James's profile and we'll see how it looks. Okay, so this is the most recent post in question. You can see it's all about how to write your DMs on LinkedIn without sounding like Eminem. And so the compliment is nicely relevant to the post. So why does this work? Why is this so powerful? Again, I will leave that to Mr. Hormozi to explain that himself.
If someone takes time to actually understand what my business is, understand my needs, understand a little bit of my background, and then makes that, I will usually take the time to read it. Why? Because I'm interested in myself, right? And so we want to leverage that self-interest to get them to respond and like us more.
Okay, great. So we've covered finding the people to reach out to and what to actually say to them when you do reach out. So what comes next? Big, fast value. With more and more people doing outreach on LinkedIn, inboxes are busier than ever. So how do you stand out? The answer, give them value. More specifically, a lot of value.
Here's how you do it. You give away the farm. We're not trying to tickle their interest. We're trying to blow their minds in under 30 seconds with the value that we're going to provide them.
He's referring to a free resource that is exceptionally helpful to your audience. Cold outreach on LinkedIn is all about building trust. And when you give something that is specifically helpful to your audience without asking for anything in return, it builds trust. It also positions you as an expert. What you want to do is actually give away something that other people charge for.
Offer stuff that other people charge for. It's a much cleaner way, and they already have an anchor for what the value is. They understand that this actually costs businesses money. And when you do that, the likelihood that they will respond to you is significantly higher.
This could be a video breakdown, free audit, mock-up, templates, scripts, frameworks, whatever makes the most sense for your audience. So back in our Prosp campaign, after our personalized compliment, we can add our big, fast value. In this case, let's go with, when I hit 100K a month with my agency, I recorded my full paid ads strategy. I think you'll get a ton of value from it. It's not online anywhere, but you can watch it here. And then the link to the video itself. There we go. We aren't trying to pitch a product, we aren't trying to make a sale, and we definitely are not asking for a call in our first message. James owns an agency. He probably wants to scale to 100K a month, and I'm sending him a super detailed, specific, and actionable guide on how he can do exactly that. The sort of thing that most coaches and consultants would charge for. You'll notice I'm also subtly dropping social proof, showing him that this is something I've actually done myself. So that's big, fast value, hitting them with something super valuable straight away without asking for anything in return. But there's actually a way that we can get even more responses from our outreach messages. And that moves us nicely onto step 4, voice notes. Because you can only send LinkedIn voice notes on mobile, a lot of people don't even know exist, and therefore even less people are actually sending them. And that's why they work so well. Not only are they a great way to stand out, they're also a great way to personalize your outreach. With that being said, sending voice notes does take a long time. You have to go on your phone, figure out something specific about them and then actually record it. But it is well worth doing. Listen to what Alex says about this in this clip.
I could leave a live voice memo that I say the person's name in it, and then I send that as my DM. The likelihood that that gets a high response rate is much higher. Why? Because it took active time to write it. We're personalizing the outreach attempt.
He goes on to talk about the trade-off with automation, saying that if you can't include their first name, you're not going to get as many replies, but it makes it a lot more scalable because you can just record it once and then send it to everyone, instead of having to spend 2 hours every day sending voice notes on LinkedIn. However, this is no longer the case, and one of the most exciting features about Prosp is the AI voice cloning. Back inside my Prosp campaign, you'll see I can add a delay and then I can add a voice note. Now you'll see I have 3 options. I can record a static voice note or upload an audio file, or I can use the voice cloning. Now, as Alex said earlier, we'll get more replies if we personalize the voice note. So with Prosp, I just have to go and set my voice cloner. That just means recording my voice so the AI is able to copy it. You'll see this takes me to the cloning page. I am very excited to show you guys what this sounds like. So I'll see you in 2 minutes after I've recorded my own voice. Okay, sample submitted. A couple of quick tips to make the voice cloner sound as good as possible. Firstly, big smile whilst you record. I know it sounds a bit ridiculous, but it really makes a difference. When you're kind of smiley, enthusiastic, upbeat in your recording, the AI will recognize that and then include that in the final output. And the second thing to make sure is that you're being really enthusiastic and really conversational. So don't just kind of sit there and blandly read the text off the screen, because you're going to sound robotic for the recording, and therefore the AI itself is also going to sound robotic. So big smile, really enthusiastic, it'll sound great. All right, let's jump back into the campaign. Make sure we have the voice cloning selected, and now you'll see that I can actually type. I can include the first name, their company name, I could complement their most recent post again, reference a shared interest, really anything you like. Your imagination is the limit here. You'll see instead of using the company name variable, I'm actually going to use the company name cleaner AI prompt. This means that I'm not going to be saying group or limited or PLC in my message. Also, if it's something like Vision AI, it's going to say Vision. And that's going to make the whole thing sound a lot more conversational, a lot more realistic, and a lot less automated. So once I'm happy with the message, I can just go over here and hit preview. And now the moment you've all been waiting for, let's see what it sounds like.
Hey James, hope you don't mind the voice note. I thought it would be a nice change from the 87 text messages you get this week. Just wanted to say I love what you guys are building at Vision Wave. I really think the strategy in this video could be huge for you guys. Let me know what you think.
So there we have it, a personalized voice note tailored to each and every individual, but at scale. Okay, we've written a super personalized intro message and even included a voice note. With that sent, it's not over just yet. Step 6 of Alex Hormozi's $100 million LinkedIn outreach strategy is follow-ups. Follow-ups are important because at the exact moment that you send the message, the recipient may not be in the right microspace to respond. Maybe they have other priorities, do not disturb, or really one of a million other reasons that could prevent them from seeing and responding to that message in that exact moment. His philosophy to follow-ups is pretty simple.
Follow up more times in more ways.
Pretty simple. Essentially, follow up more times in more ways. So how do we do this in our LinkedIn sequence? Well, we can schedule delays and then add messages. He explains that it's important to follow up in different ways and with multiple messages quickly to convey urgency. So let's wait for 1 day and then send another voice note. Right after that, and this is going to come immediately afterwards, just a few seconds, we can send a text message. So we're conveying urgency and we're getting them with the voice note and the text message. I can then add a 3-day delay and then go again. This time I'll just use a text message to mix things up and again make things look really natural. And that brings us nicely onto the final step of his LinkedIn outreach strategy, which is scaling things up. He talks a lot about scale, and with outreach on LinkedIn, like any other platform, it really is just a numbers game. With an automated tool like Prosp, you can consistently send about 200 connection requests every single week. You'll also never forget follow-ups and be able to track everything in one place. number of connections sent, number accepted, messages sent, messages responded to, all that important stuff. And with this outreach strategy dialed in, it really is then just a case of scaling it up. And the great thing about this tool is that you can do exactly that. So one account will send about 200 connections a week, and inside Prosp, I can connect more accounts without increasing the manual workload. You can add team members, friends, get your family members to give you their accounts. You can rent profiles, really any accounts that you can get your hands on. For example, with just 10 accounts here, I can send 2,000 connections every week, and that's how you can consistently book hundreds of calls week in, week out. He has this really perfect line about the power of personalization and scale. Let's watch.
The perfect combination for maximum leads is max personalization with max volume. And with tech, you don't always sacrifice personalization with scale. You can set up the tech to accomplish both personalization and volume. You have an incredibly effective lead getting combo.
And that is Alex Hormozi's $100 million cold LinkedIn DM strategy for 2025. If you haven't checked him out or studied him already, I would highly recommend doing so. You can find him pretty much anywhere or tagged in the description. And if you want to start booking a ton of calls on LinkedIn with scale and personalization, head over to prosp.ai or click the link directly below in the description to get started with a 14-day free trial. When you sign up, you will get access to the sequence, messaging, and prompts that we use today, so you can get started straight away. So go get some leads. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.